Hi folks, Tim here again, timsclass.com. You can see here we've got a lot of tools to cover today. This is a makeup lesson for all the different hand tools that we missed throughout the process. So let's just start right here. This is a ComeAlong. This is not part of it. This is just some rigging that I did to illustrate how this works. So the ComeAlong itself actually starts right here at the hook and goes to that hook down there. And all I did was put a big C-clamp on the table to give me an anchor point. All right, ComeAlong is used to drag heavy items horizontally. You never want to use this to try and lift something vertically. So this is, let's say I had a big heat and air unit that I needed to pull 10 feet and pull it over into place on a concrete slab. A ComeAlong would be a good tool to use for that. So it's fairly simple. You've got a ratcheting mechanism right here. We've got the hook that's set to our load, and all you gotta do is start cranking it and it's gonna pull the load. You can see it's a very slow process. This particular ComeAlong is capable of pulling, I believe, up to 2,000 pounds. So it doesn't take much effort to pull a very heavy load. Like I said, if you had something extremely heavy that you need to pull across a concrete slab, or maybe you had some rollers under it, this would be the tool to use. ComeAlong. All right, other tool that we missed as we were going was a sledgehammer. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You're gonna use this in construction to drive heavy rods into the ground. Let's say you're an electrician and you gotta drive the ground rod in. This would be a great tool for that. So after you get it, those things are about 6 foot tall. So after you get it down to a reasonable height, you're gonna use this to swing, and that's how you do it. You come around and swing and let the weight of the hammer work, okay? That's a sledgehammer. All right, moving along. A laser level. We didn't have one of those earlier. We've got one now, and I just wanted to illustrate. It works just like a regular level. It's a digital level, okay? And it tells you the different degrees here. This has got something unique. So it's got right here, if I pull this little button down, the laser pops out. And you can see on that wall over there, there's a line, okay? And that's telling me that that line over there is exactly level with the top of this table. So this is a great tool for trying to get stuff right, get something. Let's say I needed to build something over here, I needed to line up perfectly in place over there. I could use this tool. So it's a great little tool, it's a laser level. Turn it off. Okay, string needs to be in your toolbox. You use this stuff for about everything, especially if you're doing a layout on a house or a structure of some sort. You gotta lay it out on the ground. You're gonna use this string to go from point to point. And I've got right here, this is what they call a line level. This is what we used to use in the old days before they had lasers. We'd use this, or what they called a water level, which water always seeks the same level. So you had a clear hose and you fill it full of water, and I could go 30 feet down this way and hold it up, and wherever the water came to on this side made it level. And this line level does pretty much the same thing. I've got this little line strung up here, and you just clip it on that line. All right, and you see we're not level right now. So I'd have to find, it's gonna wiggle, I can't see it. But you would just move this up and down until you got that in the right spot and set your point on the other side. And that's how that line level works. It's really lightweight. Okay, a folding rule. Once again, a tool that's old school, still gets used today. This is great for measuring vertical distances because it's not going to give like a tape measure will just fall off. Makes for a great tool on that end, but mostly these are used by masons. If you are a bricklayer or a block layer, something of that nature, you're going to want a folding rule, and the simple reason for that is you're going to get concrete on your measuring device. So if I've got a measuring tape and I get concrete on it and it rolls up inside my case, that tape is ruined. If I've got a folding rule, I can just simply knock the concrete off. So you'll see these in masons' toolboxes everywhere. That's called a wooden folding wheel. Next tool, plumb bob. Another old school tool. This is really a simple concept. You've got a string tied to a heavy brass weight. And that dangles down, and the weight of it keeps it exactly on point. So, give you an illustration where you'd use this. Let's say I was in a room like this over here, and I needed to put a light fixture dead center of that room. Well, I can't measure up on the ceiling and get dead center by myself. What I can do though is pop a line, a crisscross line in that room, and where those two lines meet in the middle is dead center on the floor. Then I could go up to my ceiling on a ladder, and I could hold this up on the ceiling on the point down on the floor. And once that's steadied on my point, that spot in the ceiling would be dead center of the ceiling. So that's a good use for that tool. All right, moving around. Rivet gun, pop rivets. You hear that term a lot. These are used quite a bit today for drop ceilings, things of that nature. Those metal channels that hold those ceiling grids in place, those are usually pop riveted together. And it's real simple. You just pick, I've got a couple pieces of metal here. We're gonna just drill through. That's called the grip. This particular one's about a 1/2 inch. And you want that grip to be about whatever depth, a little deeper than the depth of what you're gonna be drilling through. So you find the bit that matches the grip. Here's the grip, there's the bit. I want a bit that's gonna be the exact same diameter. So I find a bit that's gonna match that, put it in my drill. You're gonna drill a hole. We've got our hole drilled. Now we're going to put our rivet through the hole. Just like that. Oh, forgot to mention. You got to make sure that the tip, see this tip is too big. So I got to find a tip that's going to match the diameter of this. So it happens to be this little green one. So I'm going to unscrew this green tip. Put the green tip in play. We'll put the blue tip back here. All right, so now I know that I've got the right grip on it. Get this released. Put my rivet in right here. See the hole that we drilled. Then I'm gonna take my rivet gun, push that in. Not grabbing it, is it? There it went. Okay, and that's locked in place. Now we're riveted together. I could turn around and spin that, twist that, whatever I want, but that's got that locked in place. It's riveted together. That's your rivet gun. Incidentally, if you're gonna have a rivet gun, you can buy all different colors, depending on if I'm using a white channel or a white piece of metal, I'd wanna use a white rivet. You got all kinds of different ones, and I recommend you keep your drill bits and your rivets together so you're not fumbling around trying to find what you need when you need it. Okay, let's move on. Bolt cutters. Most of you are familiar with this. If you were in school, when they came around and they had to cut your lock off your locker, this is what they used. Okay, a lot of great uses for these actually. When I'm putting sockets up, I've got all my sockets up, and some of them won't fit through a regular screw. So I find myself a lot of times just putting my screw in a vise, taking my bolt cutters, cut the head off it. Now I can put that screw in by simply Putting it in the end of my drill. I can put that screw in the wall and something small will fit right through that. So just makes for a good little setup. Bolt cutters. All right, this is a cat's paw with a nail puller on it. It's also got a flat bar, so this is a great multi-tool. We looked at the cat's paw before. This one's actually got a flat bar with a nail puller on it. Also works great if you're doing trim work. Hand planer. All right, what this does is basically takes shavings off. Incidentally, most all these tools have a counterpart that's either battery operated or electric, and we'll get into those in the power tool section. But you might see some old timers walking around that still have these hand planers. I'm not good with this, but you set the depth of your razor right here, and then you're gonna just simply shave your wood, okay? And if you can set the depth, you can take off as much as you want. It's a lot more fluid and precise motion with a hand planer than it is with a power planer. All right, moving around. This is called a slap stapler. You'll see roofers use these a lot when they put the tar paper down on the roof, or if they're putting Tyvek on the side of the house, you'll see them use this quite a bit. This simply goes in the back here and locks in. I'm gonna go ahead and load up. These are T50 staples. These particular ones are about a 1/2 inch. So we're gonna drop those staples in back here, and you put them the way they're gonna come out. And then you take this, push it back in. This just simply goes in and locks back in place just like that. Now your staples are in there and they're ready to go. And all you do is hit it. And that staples in. So if I'm putting down tar paper or something of that nature, the slap stapler works great. Used all the time today. All right, moving around. Chalk line. I need to make a mark, say in the center of this board. This is a 2x6. So I know that it's 5.5 inches from one side to the other. So half of 5.5 is what? What would it be? We got 2.5 and 2.5, that's 5, right? Half of a half is a quarter, so it'd be 2 3/4. So I make a mark on this side at 2 3/4. I make a mark on this side at 2 3/4. Now I want a straight line across there. I simply take my chalk line, lock it in right there on my mark, come to this side, pull tight, pop the line, got too much chalk on it, and I have a line across. Incidentally, you don't want that much chalk on there. You want to knock it off. It's just a little too thick of a line. All right. Last thing we're going to cover, Allen wrenches. Fairly simple, straightforward. A lot of times people call them machinist wrenches. They got 6 sides to them. It's a hex head. This is a sample Allen wrench bolt that you would use. You just find the one that fits it. It slides in, and you're going to use that to tighten and loosen Allen wrenches. You got metric and you got standard. So that's it today. I hope you got something out of all the different tools that we covered. Have a great evening.